Within every light, there is darkness, and every darkness, light. These forces acted as pillars between the age-old tale of good versus evil, with their spectrums of morality being presented as clear as day and night throughout history. However, I resign to the notion that these elements are much more nuanced than that, and that there is more to the beings that align with these concepts than meets the eye. In particular, the character of Vanitas. Within Kingdom Hearts, the forces of light and darkness are in a constant struggle over many a reason: domination, consumption, survival, existence. It is this long battle that has produced many clashes and wars with Keyblades, and Kingdom Hearts act as its catalyst. This is just one of the many reasons why I'm drawn to the series, as the idea of light and darkness aren't as clear as day when you dive deep and focus on the hidden matters between the lines and the characters themselves. And that is why we come to Vanitas. Welcome back to the realm of the fifth dimension. I am HMK, and in this particular path, I will open your mind and your heart to show you the possibility of the hidden tragedy of Vanitas and why his redemption is imminent, and that he could be a hero to the darkness. Vanitas' origin was once a tale that was presented to be clear, cut, and dry. However, as time went on with the series, the truth behind who and what Vanitas is continues to blur. However, many elements remain constant and clear. At first, Vanitas was presented to be the darkness extracted from Ventus' heart and made real. However, unlike the nature of Heartless, Vanitas had his own heart, initially believed to be made of a portion of Ventus', while Ventus retained his own heart. Although splintered, it was made up of Ventus' light. As Vanitas was a being with his own heart and supposedly made from Ventus, he was able to wield his own Keyblade, the Void Gear, as well as produce and control fledgling negative emotions known as the Unversed. This existence puts him at odds against the heroes of Birth by Sleep, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus, while he served Master Xehanort. The goal behind his existence was to clash with Ventus and become whole again in order to create the Keyblade, the original key that was capable of summoning and unlocking Kingdom Hearts. After an internal battle between Ventus and Vanitas, it was thought that Vanitas faded from existence within Ventus' heart, and that his story was finished. However, the darkness had other plans, and the tragedy of Vanitas would not end here. As time went on within the Kingdom Hearts series, the nature and character of Vanitas was expanded upon, and further elaboration to the context of his existence brought about a greater understanding of his machinations and gave rise to the potential of redemption. In Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, it was revealed that he was set to return for the upcoming Keyblade War, a clash between 7 lights and 13 darknesses, as he was fetched through time by young Xehanort. It is leading into the advent of the future of Kingdom Hearts that really sets into motion these possibilities of Vanitas. This includes Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind, Union Cross, and Dark Road. Combining everything we learned from these titles brings about the shocking darkness to light. Within Kingdom Hearts 3, Vanitas returns to join his heart whole once more with Ventus. However, in this title, he's constantly referring to both Ventus and Sora as his brothers, as their existences define his. And after finally revealing his face to Sora, he affirms his position as darkness, but confides that he is the shadow that Sora and Ventus casts, believing that he does stand by their side, as how much closer can he be from that perspective? While twisted, I do believe that this is Vanitas, his own attempt at understanding and being close to Sora. How would an entity like him know any different? Going into the Remind scenario of Kingdom Hearts 3, a massive hidden context is revealed to the relationship and existence between Ventus and Vanitas, where Ventus tries to correct Vanitas in the idea that they are not brothers, rather they are the same, 2 entities made from one aspect. Vanitas reveals that he is indeed not created from Ventus. Well, at least not entirely. The truth is that he was hidden deep down, away within Vanitas for a very long time, and that all Xehanort accomplished was freeing him from Ventus. This is where the darkness takes hold, and this particular narrative piece was briefly expanded on within another facet of Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, where Sora enters Ventus' heart in order to trace his way back to Kairi. He comes into contact with a darkness that at first he believes to be Vanitas. While not confirming its identity, it produces the Dark Inferno key Heartless in order to battle Sora. This piece is very important as we continue down the avenue of piecing together Vanitas' truth. We come to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, a story that reveals much about the original Keyblade War and the machinations behind it. It is within the story we learn about the concepts behind the origin darkness, and that before it became the concept known as the Whole, darkness once had forms that were not unlike that of humans. However, due to the constant clashes against those that dwelt within the light, the darknesses cast off their forms to become the Whole, darkness without form that will go on to produce the 13 true darknesses, and that 7 within their ranks being known as the 7 deadly darknesses. It is within this revelation that Vanitas' true nature may be clear. During the events of Union Cross, it is revealed that Ventus actually originates from this point in time, and that he was an ancient Keyblade wielder who became a Union leader after the Foretellers disappeared following the Keyblade War, and that within Ventus lied one other of the 13 true darknesses, taking control of the young Keyblade wielder and eliminating another Keyblade wielder known as Strelitzia in order to take her spot as a Union leader. In the end, Ventus used his power of light in order to clash with this darkness to contain it and possibly give it a form that it can be defeated, as true darknesses are without form and thus cannot truly be destroyed unless contained within a vessel, and it would seem that Ventus would be that vessel. With that in mind, as we go into Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, the story of Xehanort's past and hidden facets of his machinations, there is an interaction between that of Xehanort and Vanitas during a moment in time shortly before the events of Birth by Sleep, where Xehanort reveals his awareness of the 13 darknesses as well as the 7 deadly and questions if Vanitas is an entity that would be among that group, to which Vanitas begrudgingly denies, although Xehanort and myself are not convinced. Vanitas, at his core, is he the true identity of one of the true darknesses, given form by Ventus and extracted by Xehanort? I believe that much is clear, and that he still resides within Ventus as darkness, ready to return when the time is right. But now that we know the context of Vanitas as a true darkness, an entity born completely as a darkness, and that darkness, when described by the accounts of Kingdom Hearts, is a force that is beckoned by the most passionate and erratic of emotions, to equate that concept completely with the idea of what is evil would not be accurate, as it is finally described in both Union Cross and further clarified in Dark Road that the original goal of the darkness was to simply survive and exist. However, with the Force constantly being at odds with light through the means of their clashing ideologies and even lack of understanding of each other's true machinations and thought processes, darkness was always hunted down in one way or another. This, along with what is elaborated on in Dark Road, darkness's own way of acting, thinking, and its complete approach to its machinations, is guided by and enforced by the most visceral and intense emotions: anger, sadness, hate, and even emblazoned variants of what could be deemed as positive emotions, such as love, selflessness, and happiness. Considering all of that, we can attribute these elements to Vanitas' character in order to reveal what is a tragic character given the components that make up his existence. A being who started out simply as one of the original 13 darknesses. After light deemed darkness was unworthy of their human forms, now once again is given form as a Keyblade wielder, with the original intent to be simply destroyed. He is then extracted and commanded by another, while under the constant threat of elimination from both parties, all the while being an entity whose thought process has been clarified to be beyond that of human, or rather light dwellers' understanding, and yet despite that, makes legitimate albeit twisted attempts to connect to others, such as unifying and even delinking with Ventus and elaborating his reasoning to Sora, two of which he calls his brothers. When looking at the final lines of Vanitas' mannerisms, actions, and analyzing his movements throughout the series, we can zero in on the methods to his supposed madness and gain a window to understanding his character where he can go from here into the Lost Master arc. Feel an eternity of punishment in Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. Now available on PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and Steam. Looking for a challenge to exact your revenge? Look no further than Persona's more serious big brother. Dive into the dark, mature story and engage in morally questioned antics and feel the power of the awesome, heavy music. But of course, you'll be here for the game. SMT is known for its insane difficulty, so if you're looking for your next challenge with rewarding gameplay, then you found it in this game. In a world where you can fall at any turn, you have to utilize your biggest brain and bust out the strategies that will keep you alive and kicking, optimizing your party, fusing your demons, and knowing what skills to level up. Wait. Let me not tell you all of the good stuff. You have to find out for yourself. And now it's the best time, as the Black Friday sale will get you up to 40% off across different platforms. And if you don't believe me, believe the reviews. But yeah, you should believe me. So grab that demo and give it a try. Lock in, prepare for punishment, and fill your vengeance in Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. At first glance, many would write off Vanitas as a crazed individual based on the depths of Ventus' own darkness, acting specifically towards a goal that benefits the fall of his enemies and the victory of his master, Xehanort. However, that was under the specific context of just Birth by Sleep, and when we integrate the advents of Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind, Union Cross, and Dark Road, Vanitas actually wants much more than the simple context of darkness, belonging, a place to be where he can be, since he decides to be a darkness. Vanitas will be the key to understand that there can be more to darkness than meets the eye. In Birth by Sleep, where Vanitas shouted in Jubilee that the Keyblade would open a door to allow Keyblade wielding warriors to flock together and start the Keyblade War anew over Kingdom Hearts, he wasn't giving himself over to insanity that many initially thought, as now that we know the context of the original Keyblade War from the times of Union Cross, it was initiated in order to bring about the emotions of doubt, conflict, desperation, anger, and dissent, acting as the prime beacons in order to attract the 13 darknesses and to have the Lost Masters contain the 7 deadly into themselves as vessels. Don't you see? Vanitas, as one of the true 13, was aware of this. He wasn't attempting to rekindle the Keyblade War for the sake of causing destruction or death specifically. He was looking for the other darknesses, hoping that the Keyblade War would help him locate them and they will reveal themselves to him. This goes on into his ideology in Kingdom Hearts 3 and Remind, where he starts to refer to Ventus and Sora as his brothers. If he couldn't get back what he was looking for in Birth by Sleep, he would attempt to find it in Kingdom Hearts 3, a family. As a true darkness, that is within the core of Vanitas' own being and understanding, to propagate, expand, and exist. And if darkness couldn't fill the void, he sought to assign it with the 2 people closest to his existence and name them his brothers. While his understanding of the concept of family is twisted and anomalous, as described by the Master of Masters when it comes to most understanding on the darkness's own thought process, how to humans and those that dwelt within the light, it is incomprehensible, and yet contains inklings of context of how Vanitas, and darkness for that matter, may view what family is. And this is the basis where Vanitas may find himself with the Lost Master arc, and how this understanding can grow and unify to lead to his redemption in the eyes of light, and how that redemption could bring about something much greater than him, much greater than anything in the series, the final endgame to all of Kingdom Hearts. And that endgame is how Vanitas can act as the hero to the darkness, and through a strong connection to his brother Sora, may finally bring about the end to all wars, the end to all conflict, the better path to peace than what was conceived by the Master of Masters. Vanitas is special among the concepts and existences of the darkness and even the 13 true darknesses, that he, to our current knowledge, is the first complete cognitive being that is a darkness with a sense of self, identity, and visage since the times described by the Master of Masters, recalling how he described darkness during his time long ago in his youth, that they were not unlike humans before they cast off their forms to attack hearts after clashing with the light dwellers for so long. Vanitas is the first to regain that form, and it's perhaps because of that he gains a better understanding of concepts that those within light would often preach about. Although he doesn't have all of the pieces to said understanding, he can find what he is missing through Sora. And conversely, Sora's natural gift to reach out, connect, and eventually understand the plights of others, Sora could piece together and learn the darkness's own way of thinking to better understand and help others better understand. Rather falling into the concepts of purifying and corrupting, Sora and Vanitas can both complete the missing aspects of what light is to darkness and what darkness is to light, and that together they can fight to bring about a new age of peace between the two polarities, rather than the Master of Masters' own plan to eradicate darkness completely by eliminating the remaining true darknesses within himself and the Lost Masters. This will be poetically paramount to not only completing Sora's journey into maturity in Quadratum and the Lost Master arc, but this will also establish aspects of and within Vanitas to truly solidify the notion that just because you use, or rather you are darkness, doesn't make you evil. Unlike previous incarnation of hero within Kingdom Hearts such as Riku, Roxas, and Terra, who all had their principles of being on the side of good inlaid with the notion of darkness, they are beings that were born into the light who came about using the darkness for the sake of the light. While in the case of Roxas, he started out as a nobody born from darkness and utilizing the element of light, but being shunned by both light and darkness initially due to his nature as a nobody, but then was recompleted using a replica in Kingdom Hearts 3. He is now a complete person existing within the light. Vanitas is beyond all of that, being an entity whose entire identity is darkness, and yet despite that, he is a Keyblade wielder, he has his own visage, and he's able to retain a sense of self and think for himself. As a concept on his darkness, he is even beyond that of Xehanort and all of his forms, including that of Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, as Ansem is completely derivative of Xehanort, a light dweller who fell to darkness in order to complete his goals. When compared to Vanitas, who we now know more of his identity, Vanitas has Ventus and Sora to thank for his form, but is nowhere near as derivative to them when looking at Xehanort and his offshoots. And to say that Vanitas could and would have this greater purpose, it wouldn't totally be unheard of, as the context to the darkness that Vanitas is was only revealed concurrently and after most of his appearances, giving us greater understanding of what he is supposedly after the fact. To me, I think that's grand setup. And even beyond that, motifs found in his music also portray the idea that he could be something along the lines of a hero, or at least how darkness sees the concept of a hero. That within the tracks of Into the Darkness and Unbreakable Chains, you can hear the motifs of the themes of Sora, Roxas, and Ventus. And wild enough, within the Kingdom Hearts Orchestra medley, Heroes and Heroines, Vanitas is present within the visual medley, as well as the track closing with Enter the Darkness. And this wasn't like a mistake or a one-off. This continued to be played at the Kingdom Hearts concerts, and Vanitas is the only character present within the medley that would, many would argue, isn't a hero until now. What the core concept of this understanding is the idea of understanding, where Sora and Vanitas could experience a journey together so that Sora could truly learn to understand the darkness on a level beyond that of the Master of Masters. And through Sora, Vanitas can find redemption and learn the truth behind family that he longs for, and that those connected directly to Sora's existence can become his new family, his brothers and sisters, Sora, Ventus, Shin, Roxas, Naminé, and that this slowly but surely evolution of Vanitas' character could put the heroes directly at odds with the Master of Masters and the Lost Masters, as they believe the Master's plan to eliminate the darkness, and that the concept of darkness is beyond that of control or even redemption, and that Sora and Vanitas entertaining the simple notion of the possibility of coexistence is laughable and a blight, while Sora and his understanding of Vanitas could have them leading to the volatile idea of freeing the remainder of the true darknesses within the Lost Masters in an attempt to show all of existence that coexistence is possible between light and darkness, an idea that could even put him initially at odds against other heroes. And this wouldn't break the concept of the game when it comes to battling against the darkness either, such as beings that utilize darkness for their ends and clashing against Heartless, as when looking at both ideas at their core, they are born from the folly and weakness of light, as those that utilize darkness for their means within Kingdom Hearts are originally born as light dwellers, and that Heartless are born from darkness within people's hearts. Vanitas and the true darknesses are beyond any of that, as they are concepts that exist as pure as possible, that goes beyond current understanding in Kingdom Hearts to their sense of self. So dispatching entities such as Heartless and those that are corrupted by darkness would not present a problem to this supposed narrative or in-game selection of enemies and presentation. Everything Vanitas knew was brought about his existence as darkness, the uncaring indifference of Xehanort, and the scorn of those that he attempted to connect to, truly embodying that of his namesake. He was empty, but with a new day, a new dawn, he can face it together with Sora, and leading him to supply the void in his heart with a greater understanding of what he was missing, and that the family he finds in Sora could lead them down a path where they can fight for a better future for both light and darkness, and elevate the message of Kingdom Hearts to much greater heights, and lead to an endgame that truly brings about a peace for everyone, to have Sora be the hero of light, and Vanitas be the hero to the darkness.